Hello everybody, and this is Chaos with Chaos Esports Productions, bringing you another Bronze to Masters League game. Today we're going to be looking at a PvP. We are both Platinum, so things are still playing kind of in the same league. I have played a couple of Masters players lately, but we'll get into those games a little later. So let's go ahead and speed this up. Now, PvP, as I've mentioned in a lot of the other PvPs, kind of all of the matchups in Heart of the Swarm, I guess you could say I like to go for an aggressive early push with a single Zealot, a single Stalker, and a Mothership Core. Basically what this allows me to do, if the opponent tries to skimp on any units, you pretty much just roll over your opponent. He can try to build units, he can pull probes, he can do whatever, but when it all boils down to it, he just can't do anything. So basically, by going for early pressure, you can sometimes get a really easy win. So I go in and scout after I believe it was after a 9 pylon. So I see kind of the gateway timing and kind of what's going on. I noticed that my gateway was actually a little bit faster than his, so obviously going for a little bit of pressure isn't that, basically my Stalker will probably pop out a little bit faster than his, and then I also see a normal cast timing, so everything is more or less normal. Going back to my base, just continuing to probe, nothing too terribly different than any other normal game. So we'll go ahead and speed up to get to the good stuff. So I hope you guys have been enjoying this series. I love getting feedback from all the viewers. Any and all feedback is great. And yeah, I'll talk about the game a little bit more. So I go ahead and get the relatively early gas. That way I can get my Mothership Core out fairly quick. Chrono boost out the Stalker, and then I believe, at this point I wait for this last probe and Mothership Core. So I go check my base, make sure he didn't plant a pylon or anything, and I run over. We can go ahead and slow this back down. Mothership Core comes out, and basically we're just kind of walking across the map. But yeah, if you guys have been enjoying the series and would like to get more comments, feedback from me, or have any questions, feel free to leave comments. I'm pretty responsive to comments, whether it be via personal message. So I poke in and I see the Sentry and the Zealot, and I was a little sloppy with this. I probably should not have just let this Stalker sit here and take the pummeling from the Zealot. So losing that Stalker really early without the Mothership Core over here is kind of a big deal. So at this point, I'm just like, okay, I need to kind of rethink this, and I'm pretty sure I choose to back off completely. So by losing that Stalker, I lose kind of all dominance over the game. And basically, I have a decision to make whether or not I'm going to go Oracle, Void Ray, or Phoenix. So basically, I choose to go Void Ray because if he goes Robo, which I think if I remember it when I got up there, I scouted it because I think he's got 4 gates and a Robo. So as from seeing that, I'm like, well, he's probably going to make Immortal since he took out my Stalker and as a function of my aggression. So I built a Void Ray to kind of combat that composition that I'm expecting. I'm expecting Stalkers and potentially Immortals. Probably not so many Zealots. So I go ahead and choose to take both Watchtowers because I know he's probably going to be relatively aggressive. And basically I'm kind of in panic mode, building Void Rays and getting out units. So we'll go ahead and speed it up because I'm pretty sure his attack doesn't come for a little while. But I do see it coming here on the minimap. I go ahead and choose to sacrifice a single Zealot. I go check his natural to see if he's taking a natural, and then walk up and say, "Oh boy, that's a lot of units." So back at home, I'm more or less just frantically building units, trying to get out. you know, as much as I can before he comes and attacks. It's okay to leave these units here, but you have to be aware. Like when he comes, I need to move these like now. I moved him a little bit late, and as a function of that, I had to put down a time warp to slow these down, and then I ended up recalling it, which was probably not the most efficient way to get it back without losing it. Um, so I'm going to slow it down for this engagement. So using the prismatic alignment, I'm actually able to take out his stalkers really quick, and basically all he's left with are his immortal and his zealots. So I kind of just trail along and take out what I can, um, and then I back off. Now, pretty much his aggression has stopped, but he was. Now I'm going to back up just a little bit, just so you guys can see what happened. While I was paying attention to what was going on here with this engagement, he actually was warping in the back of my base, which is probably a little bit careless of me. But missing this was a big deal because basically he hindered my economy pretty well. I'm sitting here like freaking out about this attack, and I'm not even aware that this is going on. So it's a little bit sloppy on my end, but yeah, because he ends up killing quite a few probes because of this. And pushing out this far is it's really bad because I probably should have sent back to take these out. Anyways, okay, we'll go ahead and speed it back up to get back to what we were. Now this game is kind of interesting because I was really scared. I don't know why I was scared. It was just kind of one of those. I was aggressive, and after kind of losing that aggression, I didn't really know what to do because I can follow it up with lots of mass void ray and whatnot, but that can only go so far. So I choose to expand behind this, and then I send a single zealot out to check to see if he has expanded. And I believe, if I remember right, I come in here and I scout it. Yeah, so I see that his expansion's already halfway done. Mine's a little under that, so obviously I'm a little bit behind. And then he's got an observer in my base, so I'm like, he sees everything that I'm doing. Reason why I'm trying to go through this relatively quickly is because it's a very long game, and I kind of want to get to a single point, which is kind of toward the end. Because as of right now, I'm playing from behind, and I know I am. So basically, the entire game, I am just trying to figure out how I'm going to get ahead. So we're going to go ahead and speed it up just a little bit more. I'm probably going to drop 1,000,000 frames, and you guys are going to be like, oh my gosh. But anyways, so yeah, so I'm just basically behind this. I'm getting oracles because I'm going to do a little bit of harassment. I send in a phoenix to kind of scout out what's going on. And I see kind of everything relatively normal. So basically, I'm just trying to get out upgrades as fast as possible, and then get out an army. So at this point, as you can see, I'm still a little bit behind in unit count, so that's not good. I go in with my oracle, take out a handful of probes, and then they get taken out. And then I see that he's gone double Stargate. Now this is kind of curious because he's kind of got an advantage. I mean, he could have had a major tech advantage by going Colossus, but obviously since I went for primarily air composition, he decided to go double Stargate behind it. Now, I'm not sure if he thought that he could get ahead of me as a function of that, so I went ahead and plopped down a second Stargate of my own just so I can, outproduce him since I've already got an air, somewhat of an air army. And then I also choose to go ahead and take a third because I haven't really seen a third from him, and I kind of have a general idea of what his composition is. I can't remember at the point. Yeah, I think it was at this point where I looked at his upgrades and I said, wow, I'm kind of on the same ground. Our armies are going to have relatively the same upgrades since he's at +1 and I'm also at +1. So I can't remember when I do it, but let's see, that's the second gateway. I do plop down a second forge at some point to kind of get myself up on the upgrades for my ground army. So let's go ahead and speed this up a little bit faster, just because I mean, like I said, this was an extremely passive game for both of us. We both kind of sat back in our bases, built up our army because we were both like, I don't know what to do. And then I also see that he's going to fleet beacon. So that kind of worries me a little because I'm pretty sure I didn't add my fleet beacon until a little bit later. Um, so at this point, I see that he's expanded to his third. I'm not going to be able to touch this third for a while. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go ahead and expand and hope that he doesn't attack too terribly early, or, you know, obviously he can come. His army is obviously probably bigger than mine. So I'm like, well, I'm going to cannon this up and hopefully everything will be good to go. So I went ahead, built a pylon over here to see if I could do stuff. I wanted to make sure, keep tabs on when he took his fourth. And then, if I recall, I also went ahead and put a couple other pylons here. And this is about the time when I see this wonderful beam of light. Ready? Maybe? Maybe? Where is it? Come on. There it is. I see lots and lots of Tempest. Now, basically, now that I've seen what he's chosen to be for his late game army to be, I have to make a judgment call. I have to decide if I'm going to keep this composition and try to fight this head on, or I can use one thing to his, his advantage to his disadvantage, if that made any sense. Basically, Tempests are extremely slow, and as a function of being slow, you can build a lot more units that are, like zealots and whatnot, that can outrun it, that it can outrun his army, and therefore do a lot of harassment without having to really try. So I believe he's at this point he takes the middle and he sends a single observer over here. In a moment, it will die because my cannons are awesome. Where is it? There it is, and it dies. I don't know if you saw that. Do I need to back up? I might need to back up so you see that. There, right there. Okay, so he knows I have a base here, which basically says, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and build this second base in case this base dies, because the likelihood of it dying is fairly large. And then behind this, I choose to get Dark Shrine, because I know his army is super, super slow. And basically, I know his army is sitting kind of around the middle toward his fourth, so I'm like, well, I'm going to send my army around and see if I can, kind of catch him off surprise and take out his natural or something. And then slow down. So his army actually doesn't, like, obliterate mine, but it definitely does significant amount of damage. I pretty much lose the majority of my army. And, at this point, I'm behind. There is no doubt in anybody's mind that I am behind. So, I was really surprised because, this army it's a fairly hefty army, and he's got a fairly hefty bank. So basically, I'm in panic mode. I don't know I don't really know where I'm gonna go with this. My natural's getting close to being mined out. My third is doing fairly well, but it's a little low on saturation. I've got this fourth and fifth up, and things are relatively well. So I went ahead and sent a handful of Dark Templars in to take out some gateways, take out some pylons, and then he eventually gets an observer out and just demolishes my army. And then I also choose to send some zealots over here, and also the rest of my army to take out this base, because if I can take out the base, I'm 2 bases ahead of him and everything is good to go. Now I'd kind of be curious to know what he was thinking. So we see the handful of zealots and stalkers and whatnot here, and I'm just kind of like kill as much as I can. That's basically all I can do. I send the Dark Templars up here to take out the pylons and cannons here, And then his Tempest finally come, and I need to back off of this. And at this point, I believe this is kind of the point where he calls GG. Now I remember when I got to this point, and I kind of was like, why is he calling GG? He's got a bigger army than me. And then I kind of did a little bit of thinking about it. So I've taken out his third base. His fourth base didn't really have much, and let's go ahead and put it on everybody. So okay, so his fourth base is mineral saturated. He's more or less mined out of his natural. He's got nothing in his main. He's got a heck of a ton of gateways. So I mean, quite honestly, had he come and just moved into my army, I can't say that I would have been able to do much about it. I mean, if you look at the army value, wherever it is, wow, I can't find it. Units. I guess we could just look at units. Armed active forces. There we go. So if you look at the army value, his army is greatly larger than mine from a mineral gas perspective. This, you know, he should be able to come in and just blatantly attack, but I guess he kind of felt at this point that, you know, he had lost his third, well, at least the probes at his third, you know, he was only on one base, and I don't know, as far as vision, he did not know about my fifth. Technically speaking, he didn't know about my natural, but, you know, whatevs. And then obviously he's got this base over here that doesn't really have anything going for him. So yeah, so I think basically what this boils down to is, even if you feel like you're losing a game, play it out, because a lot of times you might be able to come back in ways that you might not have thought that you could have. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this game. Feel free to put any comments in the comment section below. If you want me to cast some of your games, also check out the email address down there. Send me some of your replays and kind of ask me what you want me to look at, and I'll gladly make a video of it and let you know. Also, if you want to watch me stream these games, feel free to follow me on Twitch. I'll be leaving a link in the description below as well for that, and I hope to see you guys in some of my future games. See ya.